Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate, Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate, Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate, Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, 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 Raja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Trivasade Gaurabharendam, Raja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Trivasade Gaurabharendam, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, 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 Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pristayate Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pristayate. Haribo.
Good morning, everyone. Harbol Namaste. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 70, a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. In his purport, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says that although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. So we long to be complete. No? We try to do this by fulfilling our desires. We engage in different activities. But if you can notice, these endeavors that we do, it never really completes us or fill our hearts ourselves. We can still experience the emptiness within our hearts. However hard we try, whatever activities that we do, it's still the same. We can still feel from within our hearts. Parang may kulang, laging ganun ang experience. It's always the same. We feel it, although sometimes we don't want to admit there's something lacking. We feel that there's like a void within our hearts that we want to feel, but it's never happening. Every endeavor that we do, we may even be, we can even perfect that endeavor. For example, we desire to achieve a certain goal, like I want to have this career, I want to do this. We can even be in such a situation where we reach that goal. But afterwards, when we are there, we can feel in our hearts now, is this it? Or we want to achieve something. When we get it, we can feel that, I think there's still lacking. No? We feel it in our hearts. So, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that we are like an ocean. No? We are like an ocean, and we are never disturbed. If a person is in Krishna consciousness, he'll never be disturbed with the desires that goes into the mind. No? But if we are not in Krishna consciousness, we will be accommodating all the desires that is in our heart, in our mind. You encounter a certain desire, what will you do? No? You try to fulfill it because you identify with that desire or with the mind. So what happens is we are bombarded with different types of desires. You want this, and then you want another thing. No? We get there's a good analogy wherein we're like a boat, a paper boat or a small boat, no? in a bathtub, kaya ano, planggana kaya, no? In a wash tub, and then big hoses, yung hose para sa bombero, yung fire truck hose. 5 of these hoses are open and water are poured into this wash tub. What do you think will happen to the boat? No? So it will be in turmoil. Pwede masira. If it's a paper boat, pwede siyang masira, no? Or if something na a plastic boat, you'll know that it's in turmoil. But our situation is like that. Our situation is like that. So we have our different senses, and all of these senses want something. It never stops. You have one desire, you try to fulfill it, and then another comes in. It's like perpetual, or there's always something that in your mind na gusto ko yan, gusto ko to. No? If you can notice it, no? Desires are always there. It does not define who we are. No? It's not us, it's just desire. No? And the purpose of that is just to put us in a situation wherein we try to attempt to be happy. So when we identify as our body and our mind, the usual desires that will pop in our mind are materialistic desires. That's why it is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita that the mind can be our friend, our best friend, and it can also be our worst enemy. If the mind is not trained well enough to be in Krishna consciousness, then it is our worst enemy. It will be flooding us with materialistic desires, one after another. But if we are trained in Krishna consciousness, then it is our best friend. It will help us to get closer to God. So it is up to us how we deal with the mind. So when we say Krishna consciousness, it's not something that you get when you join. No? Okay, so these people are Krishna consciousness. When I go there, when I join their group, then I will become a Krishna conscious person already. No, it's not like that. You have to make an effort. You have to make an effort. to be able to achieve such consciousness. So it's something that you have to do yourself. No one can walk for you. And it does not also mean that this group of people are practicing or want to achieve Krishna consciousness. That doesn't mean that they are the only group of people who can achieve that. No. I'm thinking I'm part of this group and I cannot be a Krishna conscious person. No. Everyone can be a Krishna conscious person. No. Well, whatever group you are in, whatever denomination you are in, the type of body that you have, your race, your gender, all of these materialistic labels that we have, it does not affect our relationship with God. If we are to transcend these labels, then this will not affect. The only thing that will help us become closer is applying a process in our lives so that we are in such a situation, we are in such a condition. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. So desires will always be there as long as we have this body. It's like parang promo ng Globe tsaka ng ibang telco. Now, it's like a promo ng a certain company. When you buy this, you get this. When you have a body, you have desires. No. So it's something inseparable. You have you experience pain also. So why do you have toothache? Because you have teeth. So it's there. Why do you have headache? Because you have a head. So the only way you can get away from that is you remove your teeth and your head. So yes, that's the only way you can get away from that. You should be free from the material body. So as long as you have a material body, you'll have pain and desires. So it's already there. It's already there. So when you want to enjoy ice cream, afterwards you have toothache, or maybe in the long term you have diabetes. It's connected. So as long as we have body, the suffering and desire will always be there. No? But the devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. This statement also is stated in the Bible. It said that seek first the kingdom of God and everything shall be added unto you. So as long as you have God in your life, when we say Krishna consciousness is you are loving God. You surrender to Him and you are giving your life to Him. When we say Krishna consciousness is giving everything that you have to God. Pouring all your love to Him. It's not like I give So there are certain levels of consciousness. When you say Krishna consciousness, this is 100%, giving 100% of yourself to God. It's not like, okay, I'll just do a certain time. Krishna conscious ako ngayon, later, iba naman ang gagawin ko, no? So that's not how it is. Because we cannot serve two masters at the same time. Hindi tayo pwede mamangka sa dalawang ilog. It's either we want to become Krishna conscious or the opposite of it. We want to become materialistic. Actually, being materialistic is we don't have a choice because Maya is the one controlling us. She's the one giving us things that we are pulled more and more into this material dimension. But if sometimes we are in a situation I cannot do this because I have so many things to do. So we have reservations in our heart that I want to become Krishna conscious, but what about my family? What about my career? What about my life? We are thinking that our life is different from spiritual life. We are putting separation, that we're thinking that these are two different things. The life that we have and spiritual life are two different things. But actually, the only life that we have, that we should have, is spiritual life. If we don't have spiritual life, then we have nothing. Because everything that we have here in this world is zero. What good is a career when in the end you'll just leave it behind? What good is wealth when you leave your body, you leave it also behind? Power, strength, all of these things are zero. Without God, everything is zero. So, why are we in such a situation? Because we cannot what's this? We are not ready to give up. We are not ready to give up this consciousness of trying to be like the Supreme Person. Gusto natin para rin tayo. We have this quality of God because we came from God, so we have the same quality. No? So the quality to enjoy, it's also within us. The problem is our natural position is the enjoyed, not the enjoyer. So that's the difference. No? We are not the Supreme Person, although we have this quality. No? Since we don't want to give it up, gusto ko pang gawin to. I want to enjoy these things. I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy my career. I want to enjoy my wealth. So I cannot fully practice spiritual life. So that's the only reason why we cannot give 100% of our life to the Supreme Person. That's why we cannot experience real Krishna consciousness, because we have these reservations in our heart that we want to still be like God. That's what we want. I have this friend long time ago, and when I met him before in Manila, and then when I met him in Davao, so I asked him, he's from Cebu. I asked him, when are you going back to Cebu? He told me, no, I still have some desires, so I cannot leave this place. He means that he wants to stay in Davao still. So people just can't give up things. It's hard for them. But the Krishna conscious person, the devotee, is opposite. He gives everything. That's the difference. When in material life, when you give something, you lose it. Yeah, I have 5 pesos, I have 1,000 peso, I give it to Murari, then I don't have anything anymore. No? That's material life. But in spiritual life, it's different. When you give something in relation to service to the Supreme Person, then you gain more. You gain more. The more you give, the more you have. No? So that's the difference. When you give your life to God, then you have more. Even when your relationship with God is when you walk towards God 1 step, He walks towards you 100 steps, or maybe 1,000 steps. That's how much more we gain. No? 100 times fold than what we have. That's why a Krishna conscious person is never in anxiety. What will happen to me? How will I be able to eat? How will I able to survive in this world? No? We have always been hearing the story of Mirgari, the hunter, where when he met his spiritual master Narada Muni, he asked the same question. Because he was a hunter, and Narada Muni told him, you should stop killing animals, because in the end it will make you suffer. No? The things that you do to animals will also happen to you. So Mirgari was alarmed with this, and he asked Narada Muni, then how am I going to survive? This is my livelihood. This is how I have been living. My family has been like this for a long time. And Narada said, do not worry. No, you will be protected. So he gave all these things. He gave it all up, and he practiced sadhana bhakti. And people came. When they learned that he changed, people came with food offerings. So he ate what is according to his quota, and then distributed the food. God will always protect us. It's His promise. He will always be there. No? We just have to have faith that He will always be there protecting us. Even when the disciples of Jesus Christ were instructed to preach, He told them, do not be alarmed, because you've noticed the birds, they don't even plant. Yeah? You cannot see a bird plowing the land and then planting some seeds. But the earth is providing them food. Yeah? So the flowers, they don't do anything, but they are well dressed. Ang gandang tingnan ng mga bulaklak. No? They don't make effort, they just live. So how much more if you are engaging in devotional service? How much more if you are trying to give your life to God? So that's why a Krishna conscious person is never, it's not even in his mind anymore. No. What am I going to do? Because God will provide the necessities that we need. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification. Although the desires are present, because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. So we want to experience peacefulness. Kailan ba magkakaroon ng katahimikan yung buhay ko? No? Everyone wants to achieve this. No? Even countries wage war in the name of peace. They go to certain countries, they conquer other countries because they want to have peace. The Americans, they attack some Muslim countries in the name of peace. So we have the Philippine government wants to destroy rebel groups for peace, and the rebels are also trying to destroy the government for peace. So everyone wants to achieve peace, but peace is something that is not achieved by external force. It should start from within. If a person is at peace, then this consciousness will infect. No? It's like a virus. It will infect all around him. If you are not at peace, your activities will also be in connection with your consciousness. So a person that is, we say, pag magulo yung tao, yung activities niya magulo din. Yeah? So, kung medyo maayos yung ng tao, then maayos din yung kahinatnan. You'll notice when a person is disturbed, you cannot even talk to that person. you might even stay away from that person, especially if the person is mad. You cannot talk to that person. But when a person is at peace, it's automatic. It's like a magnet that everyone is attracted to it. So actual peace is achieved when we are in the state of Krishna consciousness. Yun lang yung That's the only way that we can experience actual peace. Not only here, but the whole world. That's why the whole world should engage in Krishna consciousness to experience peacefulness. Because peacefulness should start from within our hearts. You want to achieve peace, then start from within you. You should experience peacefulness from within your heart. The chanting of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the only solution. It's the prime benediction. This is the only way where we can achieve real peace. There's no other way. There's no other way. So this process of chanting the names of God purifies our heart and mind, wherein we can experience actual peace. That's why the Bhagavad Gita, the spiritual master, the saintly persons, Krishna, the Supreme Person himself, wants us to be in Krishna consciousness. He wants us to be in a state wherein we are giving our life only to God. He wants us in a situation wherein everything that we do is for the purpose and for the pleasure of God. Because if it's for our pleasure, there is always, when we do something for ourselves, we reap the fruit of our labor. But we don't know, sometimes the fruit of that labor is bad, sometimes that's good. So, whether it's good or it's bad, we should not desire to be the ones reaping the fruit of our labor. The tendency is you'll just be given another body. You want to reap the fruit of your labor, and then material nature assigns you another body so that you can reap that fruit. So that's the situation. You do something, then there's a reaction to it. For you to be able to achieve the reaction, then you will be given another body to experience that reaction. You will be in a state of what's called in Sanskrit as samsara, no? The cycle of life and death. On and on and on. You do something, you reap the fruit of that labor. You do something for yourself, then there's always a reaction to it. Every action that we do, there's an equal reaction. So, you did something but you left your body, material nature arranges that you go back so that you can reap that fruits. That's why we've noticed that we have different types of desires. When you were in a child body, your desires were different. As your body grows old, desires changes. Yeah? Because the fruit of our actions sometimes are not yet ripe. So we cannot harvest it yet. So when it becomes ripe, tsaka lang natin ma-harvest, then you notice, nagbago na yung desire. Nagbago na yung gusto ko. Because that's how it's arranged. You want something, and then you notice, I don't want it anymore. You want another thing. Because while we're harvesting, then we are engaging in more activities. So it's like planting again, and then for sure when you plant something, you have to harvest something. That's why we are in this state of samsara, or the cycle of life and death. And we can't get away from it. Yeah? Harvest, tanim. Harvest, tanim. Oops, wala na ang body. Kailangan mo ng bagong body so that you can harvest yung mga tinanim mo. That's how it is. No? And we cannot get away from that. But a person in Krishna consciousness is different. because he is engaged in akarma. So when we say akarma, there's no materialistic activity. Akarma is not doing nothing. Unlike some school of thought, they're thinking that akarma is not doing anything. You just stay in one place and meditate and don't do anything. But as soon as you stop your meditation, you have to eat. You have to feed your body, then you do an activity again. No, so the cycle continues. That's not our process. Our process is we engage everything, we offer everything to God, so that the activities that we do, we don't harvest the fruits of our labor. No. Because everything is for God, not for ourselves. No. When we eat Krishna Prasadam. We're not really eating for ourselves anymore. When we do something, it's for God. So all of these things are a karma, and it burns all the karmic reaction that supposedly we are to harvest, we are to experience. So when karmic reactions are burned, there will be no more reason for you to have a body, to harvest anything. Yeah? Can you, is this understandable? But of course, it's not always, the situation is not always, oh, I have burned everything. Sometimes with the mercy of the spiritual master, when the spiritual master says that, okay, you're going back to Krishna, then automatically your karmic reaction will be removed, because the devotee of God does not want anything from God. He simply wants to love the Supreme Person. When someone loves you and you love them, you don't even need to ask, ano kailangan mo? What do you need? No? You simply just want to give them everything. Yeah. So especially the mothers, they don't need to hear from their children. They want this, they want that. They simply just give whatever they think is needed by their children. So similarly, Krishna gives everything to his devotees. The devotee does not necessarily need to ask for anything. So, but when the spiritual master says that you go back to Krishna, Krishna knows that, okay, so you are dear to my friend, then I'll help you out. I'll help you out. That's the relationship between Krishna and the spiritual master. So to be in Krishna consciousness means that we have this loving relationship with Krishna and the spiritual master. We offer our life, our love, our everything to Krishna. The spiritual master in this regard is none different from Krishna. They are inseparable because of the relationship that we have. They are one in love. They are one in love. So when Jesus Christ said, I and the Father are one, it doesn't mean that Jesus and the Father are merged together as one person. No? It means that they are one in love. It's like when you marry someone, no? The priest says, okay, you are two become one. It's not like the husband and wife, they merge together. No? Si Mr. and Mrs. naging isa na lang. No? That's a wrong conception of the statement where what Jesus said that I and the Father are one. Hindi yun yung ibig niya sabihin. Because Jesus said that I and the Father are one, that means that Jesus is the Supreme Person. They're thinking like that. Siya yung Supreme Person kasi sabi sa Bible, ganito, ganun, no? But we are individuals. You are an individual. I am an individual. And nobody can take that away from us, yung individuality. At the same time, we can be one. Simultaneously one and different. Achinta Veda Veda Tapla. We can be simultaneously one and different. How can we be one? When we are one, how can the person be one with God? When the person is one with God, when he is one in will and love. So, the will of God is non-different from the will of the spiritual master. So, they're in one. Non-different. That's why we say the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. But the spiritual master is not the supreme person. We can also say that. He is non-different from God, but he is also different from God. Simultaneously one and different. When we are giving our life to Krishna and the spiritual master, when we give everything that we have, and we experience this loving relationship, then we are in Krishna consciousness. The pain and suffering that we encounter in this world does not affect us anymore. It's like a big rock in a river. So, hindi siya matatangay ng unos. No? So this big rock will just stay in that river, and although the river is always constantly flowing, when we are in Krishna consciousness, our life will be like that. Come all the storms in our lives, it's natural that we experience pain in this world because that's how it is designed. But we are not touched by it. Just like the ocean, even all of the rivers in the world are pouring in water. You don't see that the ocean is disturbed by this. There is water from the ocean and there's rain. You cannot see that the ocean is disturbed. But if you are like the boat in the bathtub, no? Even one hose only, hindi na kailangan 5 senses, even one of the sense only. No? Especially kung kasing laki ng bumbero, yung hose ng fire truck, no? You will experience the suffering and pain. No? So our senses are like that when we are not in Krishna consciousness. And that's why Krishna is telling us, the spiritual master is telling us, all of the devotees are telling us, be in Krishna consciousness. Give your life, your heart to God. surrender unto Him, and everything will be okay. Good morning, everyone. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Davide, Gaura Karuna Swarupa.